This way of creating is so different for me from pretty much every way that I have created, at least with the intention of sharing across my whole life. I'm thinking of all of the times that I have created in the context of a school assignment where you're sort of given, here's the topic of the essay, or even if you pick your own essay topic, it's about sort of making a case or an argument. It's about the creation of something that you sort of have some clear intention about ahead of time. And that is also true for my podcast. I think I shared this in the last video I made. When I'm making a podcast episode or series of episodes, I have an arc that I am intending to bring us through, which is funny when I'm also in the space of intending to cultivate and allow intuition to speak. So I'm curious about this intersection of intention and intuition because I know that they are not necessarily in conflict, but that they can be in conflict when there's a sort of split between, am I moving from the ego or from the spirit, from the heart, from the head or the heart. And so intention can come from the heart or from the head. Creation can come from the heart or the head. And it's in that head heart conflict that the performer emerges, that my performer emerges. But with these videos that I'm making, I'm coming in with the sort of the very open intention of finding out what I have to say by saying it, rather than coming in with a more of a sense of purpose. And I'm trusting that if you are here and listening, that you're on a similar journey. And here we all are in this time where we are getting unhooked from the training of our social conditioning, from the habits of our social conditioning. And that is all living in our minds. And it's through those patterns and habits and ways of being that we connect with each other and create and co-create the current dominant paradigm. And as I see it, as I feel and understand it, the transition to the new earth involves us dropping out of that and into our hearts and being more and more available to connect with our own hearts, and through that to be able to connect with the hearts of the open-hearted people around us. And so this practice of coming here and finding out what I have to say by saying it is a practice of getting the head out of the way, or sort of inviting the head to take a few minutes off and just be a passenger, which is ultimately my intention for the head in more and more of my life. Or maybe not a passenger exactly, because there's something, every part of us has something to offer, right? And so it's not that we don't need the head or the mind or the brain. And I don't really know what the difference is between all of those, but they're, all words are just approximations to try to communicate something that's much more complex and vast and mysterious than words can contain anyway. But that is to say that the mind has something to contribute. I'm thinking now of that thing that Ram Dass says, that maybe is a quote from someone else, that the mind is a powerful tool but a terrible master. And that is the case. Like, our minds are so good at figuring things out, and they have given us so many amazing inventions and ideas and creations, but what we create is its most beautiful, its most powerful when it is flowing through the open heart And then the mind becomes a tool of that open-hearted leadership rather than the head figuring things out. And hearing myself say figuring things out, I'm touching in now to a theme that has been emerging in my life. And maybe actually this will be the theme for this week's Fairy Godmother podcast. But the theme is to stop trying to figure things out and lean more into finding things out. Because a lot of what we try to figure out is what it's going to be like to do something, and we can never know without doing it. The analogy that I used with a friend that started me thinking about this find out rather than figure out theme a couple months ago is, no matter how much you explain to someone what it's like to ride a roller coaster, it cannot come close to the actual experience of riding a roller coaster. And that's true of everything we experience in our lives, from the beauty of a sunset or a solar eclipse to the experience of navigating a challenging conversation with someone we love, moving through conflict and finding our way back to each other. You can think about it as long as you want. You can try to figure it out as long as you want. But ultimately, that attempting to figure it out is a way that the mind is holding us back from actually living. And the gift of an experience is in the experience, not in the mental preparation of it. And so, as I feel into the experience of being on a healing journey, a spiritual journey, and on this journey of transitioning toward the new earth, which we are doing collectively, our work is to stop thinking about what it is that we need to do and just start doing it. Stop figuring it out and instead find out what can we learn. And one of the gifts of this experience is the gift of making mistakes, which, oh, if you're like me, that does not feel like a gift on first pass. My perfectionist self wants to just never make mistakes. But mistakes are how we learn, and they are necessary and inherent to doing something new. And the new earth is calling us into doing things in a new way, doing new things. And in fact, mistakes are the crack in the superficial surface, in the like hold it all together energy of these current times, of this dominant paradigm. Mistakes are the cracks through which the new earth can send its fresh green shoots. So, an invitation today is to notice and celebrate your mistakes. Get curious about the gift inside whatever mistakes you're making. Allow yourself to feel whatever feelings come up. This isn't about denying that. Have the feelings, but don't let the story end there. Let the feelings arise and hold them with love and compassion. And then whatever stories come up in the mind about how you're wrong and bad for making a mistake, remind the mind we're doing things in a new way now, and actually mistakes are great news. That's exactly what we want out of this experience, because it's only through mistakes that we get to emerge from the perfect shell of performance and pretending and step into our aliveness, our realness, and the open-hearted place where we can make true connection with each other and with the great mystery. That's what I've got for us today, my friends. Blessings, blessings, blessings on you and everything you love. Love you, my friends.